So here it's just showing this overall action piece, and the main action is just this left gesture with this inverting punch, even though the character is just standing still. But as you go through this, the first character that's receiving the hand is a little harder to draw, so just kind of sketching this out with the circular part. There's that line of action with the spine. It kind of sets with the feet, so you want to exaggerate the motion on this as best you can. And this eye line is setting at the bottom of these eyes. So I'm just going to kind of sketch them in here. I already have them drawn a little bit, but then the bigger section here. And there's the center line. Again, as you find this character, this cat's going to have a circular part that has a center line for it. So there's two circles on either side of that piece. And then this chin. So you might exaggerate a little bit on this character, so I'm going to jet out the chin a little bit. As it goes around the form, you see these larger circular shapes for the cheeks to build up on. So it's a little tricky. You have to kind of get used to the formula of the character and build it up from there. So the triangular shape on the ear, and even if you have this main line of action, try to think of everything else also within that general shape, general line, also have a movement. So even if you extend these lines, just to give yourself a feeling of this guide coming through, and this is where it really takes place. If you can think back to the previous sketches you did with the skeletal structure and try to locate that just real quickly here. Here's the hips coming through to this guy. And again, finding that shape, this bean shape for their pelvis and the hip section and the rib cage, elongates itself to follow this overall image. And then as you get down to the ankles, the knees, give it a circular shape, and that'll also help build that motion. And the same with the tail and the arms, keeping the circular shapes. And then the part that has this glove shape changes a little bit, gets a little mushy up in there. So then as you go through it, just kind of take a second and see. Here's the circular part. It has little cat lines going, fur lines coming down. And same with the hand, it's going to be elongated, so when you think of the squash and stretch, let that take precedent over the drawing. Extending everything. Even this hand, the pinky kind of goes out from the rest of the hand. And they give some of these action lines. So that's just to help you keep it moving and exaggerated into that. Same with the legs. All this becomes very rounded. Coming down to this foot. And you have to make this a little bigger on your drawing when you get there. Circular shapes for all these toes. But they're all still kind of going in this direction, so keep that in there. And same with this foot. So this one has a lot of weight planted on it. Circular shapes. I always go back to the geometric shape. It'll help you establish where you're at with the drawing. And then here's the tail coming down. And find the circle for the hair there, that piece. So that's the main character delivering the goods there. The second one, he's kind of up off his feet, so if you did a ground plane, it'd be coming from there. This is the shape, this is the line of action right there. And even this exaggerated pause. So again, you have to build it up with the circle, but this is really squash and stretch right there. And then the shoulders coming down, the hips, and then the legs are just kind of straight together, one curve following the next. And if you can follow the circles, bring that up. Circles for the hands, even though this one becomes elongated. And that's what I mean. It has its overall action, but within it, each limb has its own action based off of that first gesture. Now when you get into this face, it's a little hard to see what's happening. So you might want to start with the hand and fix that up a bit. Kind of just showing that. And there's a center line, but it takes the impact there. And all the hairs, the ears, everything's following that gestural shape there. And even the hands, it's elongated so these fingers become circular but stretched out a little bit. Opposing hand on the opposite side there. Circle. That one. And even the foot, since it's up in the air, it doesn't have the weight on the heel, so it's just kind of a floating section. Same with this guy here. Part that you might want to change according to their drawing is the hands. Again, it's a little exaggerated and follows with the line that they're coming up with. So before we ink it, I just want to take a look. So there's the line, and if you do show a section where this character is standing at least, you can see this one is airborne on that section there. Builds that drawing there.